All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Steve, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, certainly will. Hey, Manny, just tell us first of all about, how Henry looked today in practice. We just talked to Brian a little bit about that and kind of what, his presence in that position, does to your offense. What kind of things does it open up maybe that you didn't have previously this year?
Yeah, I think Henry looked really not did a really good job today at practice. Looked really good. I think our team has a little bit of a buzz and energy. I think they're excited for Henry. Um, he's been through a lot of the past year and has been in the background, getting healthier, regaining his confidence in his arm. His arm strength has never been in doubt. And with what we like to do and pushing the ball down the field, in our first conversations with Henry when we got here a year ago, he was very excited about the direction of the offense. And then, as you mentioned, he provides a different element, with his legs. So, we're not in any type of game planning mode yet. Our first three practices are really more just developmental practices, us working on us. But it's good to get this time where we can get our timing as a passing offense down after the time off that we took for exams and whatnot.
Go ahead, Connor, then Jim.
Yep, Manny, speaking of timing, can you just kind of run us through the schedule of what the next few weeks look like on the way to Jacksonville?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we'll do two more developmental style practices. That'll give the coaches a chance to continue their game planning for Ole Miss, and then we will, in essence, work a game week here. We should be, from a game plan standpoint, a practice standpoint, we'd be ready to play by this Saturday. And then after this Saturday, we'll allow the kids. Great thing about playing in a New Year's Day or an after New Year's Day bowl, we can allow our kids to go home for Christmas and not have to have Christmas in a hotel. So they'll go home for Christmas. We'll report back here on the 26th. Practice here in Durham on the day after that, and then we'll head down to Jacksonville and basically repeat a game week to really polish everything while we're down there. So schedule break's pretty nice for us. It's one of the advantages of making a later bowl, and our guys are excited about the plan we have to get ready.
Oh yeah, hey Manny, good morning.
Morning.
It seems like I keep asking you questions where I'm trying to ask you to give away the game plan. I'm not trying to do that, but I'm curious about Henry. With the lack of depth behind him, how aggressive can he be in the run game?
Yeah, like as you mentioned, we haven't even begun to game plan for this game yet, um, but you play to win the game, right? And you play to try to maximize all your player strengths, and you have to do what's necessary to try to move the ball against a highly disruptive defense. So that our coaches will get that dialed in over the course of the next few days, and we'll have a chance to run through our preparation twice to get ready.
Okay, you do have some walk-on quarterbacks, or have you picked out one to get some, in case of emergency, break glass reps?
Of course, and we'll rep all those guys and have a batting order by the time we get through the end of next week.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead, Dominic.
Hey coach, hey coach. Yeah, obviously it's really tough for a team to lose two of its top quarterbacks within the span of a couple of days. But you mentioned the guys were able to rally around Henry. Was that something they did organically, or was that something that you kind of helped spur on, or kind of what did you see from the team in the aftermath of everything that happened?
I think that happened more organically. Henry's a guy who has won a game as a starter here a year ago. But the players always respect the process, and when they see, anybody who because of injury can't perform at their best, there's a lot of guys that relate to that, and they see how hard you have to work behind the scenes and with no applause, right? And nobody's cheering for you. You're not getting the accolades. And so it's a great lesson for everybody in the program, that perseverance pays off, and he's got a chance now to perform on an outstanding stage against a terrific opponent.
Go ahead, Adam.
Coach, obviously Grayson and Malik have already opted out of the bowl game. I was just wondering if there were anybody else that you don't expect to play. And then one question looking forward to next year. I know Star Thomas played at New Mexico State, and Diego Pavia also played there, and I know he's in the NCAA for an extra year of eligibility. I was curious if you know if Star is planning on appealing for an extra year as well, or any other guys that might have been honored on Senior Day.
I don't believe we'll have any other opt-outs to answer the first part of your question. The second part, I actually thought that it was tied into a junior college time. So as we do with all rules, we'll stay loose and adjust if they tell us. But right now we have to plan based off of what we know now in terms of what dictates eligibility.
Thanks.
We'll go to Royal and then finish it up with Connor.
Yeah, Coach. Good morning. I want to just get your input and your opinion on Coach Belichick joining the UNC staff and just bringing more exposure to the ACC. What are your thoughts on Coach Belichick joining the ACC Brotherhood?
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, it's great for the league. Look, our expectation is no matter who the football coach is over there, we know our game is always going to be a great contest. I think the last three were all decided by the last play of the game, and there's no reason to expect to be any different going forward. So it's one of the premier rivalries and in all college athletics, and the more spotlight that comes on it, the better for everybody.
Thanks, Coach.
Manny, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think since Darian Mensah was announced as a signee, you can talk about him. So wanted to get your input on what he'll bring to the table next year and whether he'll go into the season as the starting quarterback.
Well, if we've learned one thing in the last year here is this university attracts outstanding people, and starting with Malik. I mean, Malik is such a humongous part of our story in the growth of our program, and we were so fortunate to have him here. And as you mentioned with Darian, I think it's another outstanding player who everything that Duke has to offer, and putting this brand behind you and the power behind that. And so, we feel fortunate that he signed with us. We think there's a lot of ways in our offense that we think that he can be a dynamic football player, and we look forward to getting in here and letting him, battle and compete and going from there.
So competing for the quarterback job, not presumed starter.
We go into every year that even the guys we have coming back on the team, we go into every year and we always wipe the chalkboard clean. We don't ever start with an inferred depth chart for any position, and we want everyone to come and never rest laurels on what you've done in the past, because the past doesn't matter what you go in the future, and that doesn't matter if you're the quarterback or the left guard or the wheel linebacker. Let's who are you today?
Thanks, Manny.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone. We'll have Aaron Hall just in a minute.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Manny.